So personally, I'm okay with somebody saying thank you for your service. I think there are tons of great Americans out there that didn't serve for whatever reason. They were somehow unqualified, or they chose to chase a lifelong dream, whatever. But there are Americans that get it, that military service is something to be appreciated and valued, and they're grateful for the small percentage of us that do serve, and they want to say thanks. So for me, as a father of a Marine, it does my heart good to see other Americans that value military service. Lots of veterans see their service as a significant and informative part of their lives, but it's a part that's in the rearview mirror, and they're focused on what's right in front of them, the challenges that are in front of them. And many of those challenges are a result of their military service. Just think about the veteran that gets out after 4 or 10 or 20 years. We all have different circumstances in our lives, but we all have this one thing that I call the catch-up factor. And that's that distance that we need to make up to become competitive with others like us who didn't serve. For some of us, that gap could be education, it could be specific experience, it could be both of those, could be something totally different. But there's always something that the veteran, there's always a deficit for that veteran when they get out. And I think a great way to thank a veteran is to find ways to reduce that catch-up factor. So if you're an employer, consider giving the veteran that you're going to hire anyway an opportunity for professional development. If you're a consumer, consider buying your goods and services from a veteran-owned and operated business. If you have time and money, consider giving that to an organization that helps veterans to thrive. And if you don't have any of that, I would just ask you to live a life that's worthy of the service and sacrifice that veterans and their families give to our nation.
On how to best thank a veteran. It's an interesting question, and first I want to say that I've heard it said that there are some veterans that don't like to receive a thank you from civilians for their service because they don't feel that the civilians can fully understand the sacrifice that our veterans gave in service of our nation. I personally don't subscribe to that. I don't think that in order to show true, genuine gratitude, someone necessarily needs to understand the full depth of that sacrifice. The fact is that they can be thankful without understanding it. And I think in most cases when we hear that phrase, thank you for your service, it's genuine. In terms of how to best thank a veteran, I'm going to give you two answers. I think that I'm going to tell you the easy way, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit harder way. And I think the easiest way and the most meaningful way for me to hear when someone thanks me for my service is for them to tell me, welcome home. I think that encapsulates all of it and generates the necessary gratitude that I think that they're trying to project. So just simply welcome a veteran home. That not only signals their service, but it also gives them a tip that they're welcomed back into the community in which they serve for. So that's the easy way. I think that the hard way is to live your life in a way that is worthy of the sacrifice that our post 9/11 combat veterans, that all U.S. military veterans have given in service of this nation. And what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is be a great neighbor. Be a member of your community who gives back into your community. Be of service to others. Earn that sacrifice by serving yourself. And ultimately, the best way, in my opinion, to say thank you to a veteran is to be a good citizen. Understand that the all Americans' best allies are other Americans, and work to help this country find a way to prosper as a nation together and put that ahead of our own individual prosperity. Because in the end, that's what we've asked of our service members, is that they sacrifice their well-being in service of our nation. And I think all of us as Americans can do that in many different ways by living in a way that helps us prosper together as a nation. I think that's the best way to tell a veteran thank you.
Well, I think a lot of us veterans, when we go around and we're in the community and at airports and people find out you're a veteran, they always say thank you for your service, which I appreciate, but it seems a little strange to me. I signed up, I had the opportunity to serve my country, and that's what I wanted to do. As far as what everyday Americans can do to celebrate Veterans Day in honor of our veterans. I think it's year round. I mean, respect the country, respect the flag. A lot of men and women have died in combat to serve our country, to protect our country. And a vast majority of Americans, they haven't been outside this country, where you go to some of these third world and other nations where fresh water is a luxury and corruption and violence is day to day. And if you've done that, you come back to the United States and you're like, wow, we live in a great country. So year round, I think respect the flag, respect our country, respect our veterans. I'll also say that a lot of veterans, I think people probably through the movies or whatever, they think all our veterans are broken. And they're not. You see on day-to-day movies, every veteran has PTSD and such, and they're not broken. They are a great contributor to our society. Great mentors, great in our communities. And so I would tell people, hey, reach out and talk to someone, not about their service per se, but just about the person within them. And I think you'll learn a lot about, the type of person that serves our country.